Welcome to a look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. It's Wednesday the 19th of February and we have new mods. There have been a couple of updates. We've got an update to the Floodlight trailer by ETA Latmachoise, and we've got an update to the Kuhn Cetera 3000/4000 by Matt26. The update says added 4000, so I think it was just the Kuhn Cetera 3000 before, so there's now a 4 metre version. Wow, that'd be impressive, a 4,000 metre seeder. Anyway, mods for today. Right in front of us we've got the case IH Vestrum series by Redcat 3D and Lucas 2002. This is the new case Vestrum series and it stands out from the crowd. That's what it says in the Modhub. It combines compact dimensions of a manoeuvrable 4-cylinder tractor with the premium cab comfort design of larger case IH models. It is the first case IH tractor in the 100 horsepower class with the continuously variable CVX drive transmission. There we go, that's what it says. It's a nice looking mod, very crisp, very detailed. Few options available. Does come with a fairly high slot count, and when I say fairly high I mean it's up there. 51 slots. But it does look nice. If you're in the market for a small tractor and you've got plenty of slots to spare, I'm struggling today, or if you're on PC and you don't have slots at all, this may be right up your street. So let's have a look at install first. I think this time this you'll find on small tractors. The Vestrum series, so we can change the main colour. We can have Case IH Red, we can have a black edition, we can have a grey edition, we can have the 145-year edition, which is the one I went for just because it's shiny. I'm like a magpie attracted to shiny things. There's the municipal, the orange version, then we've got the Redcat Rot, or red, just there. We can change the design colour, and I think that's for the front loader attacher. So if you go for a front loader attacher, it will match the colour, or you can have a contrasting colour on that if you want to. That's entirely your choice. If I go for orange, at least then when we do pick it, it will stand out. On the front of the vehicle at the moment we've got a weight carrier. We can have the weight carrier, we can have a 500 kilogram weight, we can have a 1000 kilogram weight, or we can have a front 3-point link. We've got an option on tyres of Trelleborg, Michelin or Mitres. I think there's knock-ins as well, there are. If we go right back to the Trelleborgs, under Trelleborgs we've got the option standard, weights, wides and weights, narrows, twins on the rear, twins all round, back to standard. On the Michelins we've only got wides, and if you look at the difference, they are huge compared to the standard Trelleborgs. If you go to that, I mean, absolutely massive. Do they look... They look a little bit odd. I mean, that's just me. I think they look a little bit like too big. Do they? That's just probably just me. The Mitres we've got standard, and we've got wides. I don't think there's another one. Yeah, standard or wides, and they are big tyres. And then, like I say, we've got the knock-ins, which is just the standard communal, if you'd rather have those as an option. Interior cab colour. Now we can have that standard grey with the red on the seat and it's got like rubber floor mats, or you can have that grey with carpet inside rather than rubber floor mats. We can have the beige interior, which I quite like. It makes it a bit more light and airy inside. Or you can have beige with carpet, so rather than the rubber mats you can have carpet. Beacon lights we can have none. Let's swing around so we can see. We can have left, we can have right, we can have both. Then as far as engine goes, we can have the 100 horsepower, we can have the 110 horsepower, the 120 horsepower or the 130 horsepower. If you go for the 130 it adds another 15 grand on top. And then we've got this option of a front loader. And there you go, that's what I mean. The design colour will put the front loader colour on. I just did that orange so it stand out so you could see it. So we've got front loader attacher standard, alloy console, or not at all. And then we've got an option inside, trying to get a good angle on that. You can have a mirror, that comes on that pillar. You'll probably just see that clicking on and off. Inside, that's fairly handy. I think I went with that one as an option. So those are options available on the Case IH Vestrum series. Let's hear it start up. Sounds nice. Horn. I know some people like to hear the horn. Lights. Beacons. Must admit though, the lights on that, I don't know what it is, I just think it's a nice looking tractor. I think we do have, I think now, L1, R1, and there we go, up and down. So L1, R1, up and down on my right stick opens and closes the rear window. Side to side on my right stick opens and closes the door. And then if I go L1, R1 and left stick, side to side, it opens and closes the sunroof vent, however you want to refer to it, like so. So a few options available on there. Inside, lights on. Scroll through the light options, we've got some on the pillar there. Put the beacons on. There's nothing that comes up anywhere on the dash that I can see for the beacons being on. The pedal moves, but the control arm doesn't. Now that mirror, that's the additional, you can just see that. That's pretty handy actually. Although I can imagine, mind you, if you're turning at a junction, you'll be looking out that way. I don't suppose, you may feel it impedes your vision out the front, I don't know. That would be entirely your decision to make. Let's close that door. Close the window. It's nice actually, I like it. And then we'll close that down. And there we go. Lights off. That's the Case IH Vestrum series. That is by Redcat 3D and Lucas 2002. That's the first of the mods we're going to be looking at today. I'll drive over to here. And let's look at the next one. This is the Farmhouse by MoosAgrar. This is a German style, Bavarian maybe style looking farmhouse. The garage door does open, so you can park a vehicle in here if you want to, and there is a light in here. You can't actually get into the main house itself, but a few details on the inside there. Very nice indeed. If you want to sleep through the night, L3 and the trigger is just there. It's a fairly large building, but again, this is one of those things we are getting a lot of different farmhouses and various different versions on the sleep through the night triggers, and there'll be something that will suit a map you're playing on. And again, this may not be for everyone, but it may be one of those things you look and think that's perfect for a map I'm playing on, but it just adds to the selection we've got available. This you will find under placeables, under farmhouses, 200,000 to buy, and it is, how many slots was that? 19 slots. So fairly high in the slot count, but it's a big building with a bit of detail on it, so you know, it's, again, whether that bothers you or not is entirely your choice. And we'll turn that light off. Close doors on the way out. That's by MoosAgrar. What we will do is go straight over here, because this is also by MoosAgrar. This is the German cow barn. This is 40 slots, fairly high in the slot count. Cow building with a little pasture down by the side of it. We've got a water trough down by the side here. Wooden fencing round, nice details and textures. Doors open and close. I'm pretty sure the blinds open. I did have a look round earlier for a switch for the blinds, but it might be that you just walk up next to them and press circle. Can't remember now. But we do have a gate round the sides here if you want to get into the pasture itself. Manure point is just there. Slurry point is just here. Your milk collection point is just there. These gates are the ones where the tops can open like that on their own. If I come back a little bit, I get the trigger for the bottom one, so it depends where you go in. But if you just do that one, he says, it will do both closing like so. So it depends whether you want to do one or both. Or there we go. Did both at the same time. So trough in here. Oh, hang on. Right, lights. There we go. Why can't I get those blinds to work? I'm sure it said in the Modhub that these. Let me just double check that. I have my. So manual light, manual nets, seasons ready, snow roof. The lights and windbreak net can be operated on the electrical boxes that are attached to the wall. Am I missing something then? So open up the menu, just in case I'll miss something. Lights off. Maybe there's a separate one. Oh, there you go, net up and down. That does the nets all the way around. I knew it was on there somewhere. So you can have those open for a bit more aeration through and protection from the weather. Or back down again if you should desire. So, we'll open this one here. There we go. Buying, selling, loading or unloading is done from here at this point on this side. And we do also have, if I close that again, we do have a smaller door at the side here you can open if you just want to go in here without going through the main trough. I think the straw bedding is unloaded in here. I could be wrong on that because you've got the feed trough along there, and sometimes the trigger does both. It does feed and straw for bedding. But yeah, nice tidy mod. We'll have a look in store. Under animal pens, the German cow barn holds 100 cows. 550,000, so it's fairly expensive. I suppose when you think about other ones that are available, the standard in-game one, you're looking at 300 grand and it will hold 200 cows, so it's a bit pricey, I suppose. But again, it may be, you know, that doesn't bother you in the slightest and you're more than happy to pay that. So there you go. That is the German cow barn by MoosAgrar. Moving onwards, we've got the FS19 horse husbandry. This is by Fullpowershift. In addition to our animal husbandry, we've got water trough around the side there. We've got feed trough there. We've got their hay bedding type trough just here. Buying, selling, loading or unloading can be done from here. Gate does open, like so. Again, nice tidy textures. Very neat. You can store bales under there if you want to, if you're going to be feed them hay and stuff. Now for all of these, obviously when you open up the main menu here and you go across to your animals, it puts them in here. So you've got German cow barn there and you've got your horse husbandry, so it'll give you your options as per usual as to what they need and reproduction rates and feed and ration and those kind of things. So as soon as they're placed they will appear, and obviously you do need to own the land, and with most of these they do not like a nice flat piece of land to be placed on, so that's something worth bearing in mind when you do come to place them. So this will also be found under placeables, under animal pens. FS09 horse husbandry, 30 grand. It will hold 4 horses, so it's actually not too bad, not too expensive. To be honest with you, on console, because we don't have the horse helper mod, you don't really want to be going more than 4 probably. I mean, at 5 minutes exercise per day per animal, you go beyond that, you're looking at a fair amount of time taken. Just, I mean, if you've got a spare 5 minutes here and there, you can just jump on and exercise the horse, come back out and then do another one again later. It's entirely up to you. But this will hold 4, 30 grand. Very nice indeed. That's by Fullpowershift. Moving on, we have this. This is the KPE 3.8. This by RusAgroTeh TEH. It's a cultivator. Well, I say it's a cultivator. You can find this under cultivators and under subsoilers, I think it was. We've also got the SP8, which is this bit here, which is part of this pack. So they're all in kind of slightly different places. There are quite a few options available on this. This is a 3.8 metre cultivator, like I say, cultivator, subsoiler. Sorry, 3.9 metres, sorry, I do apologise. Very handy bit of kit. You know, it's a cultivator. It's not a 3 metre one, it's a 3.9, so it's a little bit wider than we're used to. I say that in jest, you understand. Under, like I say, we've got it under cultivators. I'm pretty sure it's cultivators. There we go, the KPE 3.8, 3.9 metre, 3,500 buy, requires 75 horsepower. Options available, we can have it in red, like a light green, blue, crimson, yellow, then we can have yellow and red, John Deere, and back to red again. We can have on the back rollers, or you can have roller spiral, and that's it. But you can also find, I'm sure it was subsoilers, or am I imagining things? Nope, there you go, it's under subsoilers as well. So it can be used instead of a plough. So I'm assuming when you use this, this will give you the ploughing state as well, if you get this one, I guess. Now, the thing about this is, this can be used independently. So drop it down. And away we go, we are using our 3.9 metre cultivator, no problem at all. But you can also use it in conjunction with this other bit of equipment, and I need to try and line these up because this can be a little bit fiddly. Like that. We'll try there and see if that works. We might get lucky. So this here, the SP8. Now the SP8 is found under, I think it was miscellaneous. There we go, the Lizard SP8, 1,700. I think each of the cultivators is 9 slots for the first one, and this was 9 slots as well for the first one of these. Again, you can have this in colours to match, so blue, red, green, crimson, yellow, yellow and red, John Deere, back to blue again. And this is, we've had a couple of like these. Well, we know actually we did on FS17, because a lot of people have been using the John Deere seeder that does this as well. But if we go backwards, like so, we can hook that one up, and then that one up. And you can run them both next to each other, so two 3.9 metre ones brings you out at about 7.8 or 7.9 metres. If I hire a worker now, we'll drop them both down. I've got one with a roller and one with a like the spiral one, which is pretty handy. Not overly expensive, but there is a drawback. Now obviously if you transport them like this, that's way too wide to go down a road, which is a bit of a pain in all honesty. But what this does have in the centre, it does have another hitch here, which is fantastic. So you can put that on, then you can put one of those hooked into the middle, which means it's no wider than that. But if you want to run double setup, these don't have trailer hitches on the back of these, so you can't bring two of these out to the field in a chain. So you couldn't bring that and one of these in the middle and then one of those on the back and bring it all out in one go. So if you want to run a double setup, you would bring one out, then have to go back and get the other one, bring that out, and then hook them all together. So, you know, it's a minor thing, but it's worth pointing out. Unless you've got a massive open map that with huge open roads, and it's not a problem at all and you're not bothered, in which case you can take it everywhere like this. That's entirely, there we go, I'm back at it again, entirely your prerogative. So that's the KPE 3.8 and SP8 by RusAgroTeh. Moving on to the last of our mods for today, and this is an interesting one. It's this. This is the Roto Arm by SMI Modding Team. Wow. It's a peculiar looking device. But big thank you to Robert, actually, who sent me a video of one of these being used in the real world, which was rather cool. Now the premise behind this being, you have a power harrow which comes as part of this kind of little pack. The power harrow attaches this roto arm, which can be transported upright and kind of stored away, and it can be swung from one side to the other, which is great. The premise being that you cover the ground once, but you can plough and cultivate, so prepare your seed bed. Now obviously this is in the real world, because in game you can actually seed directly onto a ploughed field. So do you have to do this in game? Do you have to plough then cultivate? No, you don't. But if you're going for a slightly more realistic feel to what you're doing, then potentially you may want to go down this route. I say it's not without its drawbacks. The power harrow is 3.9 metre that comes with this. But there aren't that many 3.9 metre ploughs. There are a few modded ones knocking about. I grabbed the Tetra 4 from the Trex T-Rex kind of pack bundle, which is a 4 metre. And again, the problem you've got is that plough's a little bit wider. So every time you plough and then you come and you cultivate, it's actually ploughing over a bit you've already cultivated, which is it's a bit of a pain. But it's it's workable, and if you can find a pair that match, it's no problem at all, and it works very, very well. It's an interesting contraption to use. We've got a 3-point link on the front here, so you can add a weight onto the front, because in the real world you probably wouldn't use a plough like this. You'd use a plough that extends out the back, so for transport and moving there's a lot of weight over the back axle, so that weight would counterbalance the whole plough sticking out the back situation. So we'll have a look at it in here first. I think the Roto Arm was in here, wasn't it? So the Roto Arm is 13,500 and was 4 slots for the arm. Requires 300 horsepower to run, and it does come with a power harrow attachment. The power harrow attachment you'll find under power harrows. Right there. Oh, it's not 3.9, it's a 3 metre. That explains why it's gone horribly wrong. Right, bear with me 1 second. Right, we should have the issue resolved. So, the actual... Get the tractor away. The power harrow is a 3 metre, so what I've got is the Kuhn Varimaster 1535+1. This is by Rick Black Labelle TWD Modding. It's a 3 metre plough. So as you can see, if we hook up, because that's hanging a long way off the back, there's a lot of weight over that back axle, hence the reason to have that on there to put a front weight on, which then balances the whole sort of setup. If we back up, we can then add on our power harrow. Now this may seem like a bit of a faff to you. You may be looking at this thinking, I just can't be bothered, I can't see the point, I'm not going to use it. That's fine, that's absolutely no problem with that at all. Now what I am going to do, and it does mean switching between a lot of bits and bobs here and there. So if I bring the plough across a little bit. So the premise being you plough your first strip, and then what you do is once you've ploughed, let me just drop that down actually and finish off that bit. And getting the kind of balance right on this is a little bit fiddly, and it may well be you're looking at this thinking, I really do not want to be doing 3 metre ploughing. I'd rather just get on with it and just do what I usually do. That again is entirely up to you. So the premise being now that as I come back down to do my next row of ploughing, the power harrow is on the wrong side, and in the real world this is done to avoid multiple passes over a field, compaction, that kind of thing. So if I switch over to the front now, I turn that, which brings the whole assembly over like that. So my power harrow is now on the side that can harrow the bit that we've just ploughed. So as we go along, we are ploughing the new strip, but we are power harrowing the old strip that we've already done. I think this might be like the other ones. Let me turn the plough first. It might be you can only pack it away from one particular position. I think it might be from this side. I was just going to show you it kind of stored or for transport. Yeah, fold tool. So L1, it has to be that side. So L1 and X folds the tool. That puts it up out the way for transport, like so. Drops that down onto the little cradle just there for transport. Brilliant. Unfold the tool, brings it down to the side there, so it'll always come down to that side first, and then you can turn the plough, because obviously as you change sides and turn around on the field, L1 and square brings it all over here. Now this is where we have a couple of issues, or an issue, I think personally. This is just me, but we do have some manual adjustment. So if I do L1 and my right stick up and down, I can raise and lower that manually. I don't have to do it by pressing L1 and circle. But if I now press, that's as low as it will go, there. It says lower tool, so L1 and circle, if I press that now, that lowers it to there. But doesn't actually touch the ground. So if I turn that on now, drive forward, it doesn't actually cultivate. Now it does say lower cultivator. I've just pressed that, lift cultivator, lower cultivator. Now that's raised and lowered that ever so slightly, but I can't tell if that's actually touching the ground enough now. Oh, it is, that's alright. That wasn't working before, so there's a lot of kind of finessing of fiddling around with it. But what you can also do is you can bring it in and out. Again, need to get the right one on this, like so. So you can adjust the width. So that's R1 and up and down. So like I say, there's so many like minor little adjustments to do here. Because if you look, the weight is almost on the floor, not quite on the floor. Right. So as you move forward, sorry, I know this is a bit fiddly. As I move forward now, I'm power harrowing, which is great. Get to the point where I want to drop my plough in. Plough goes down. I move forward. So I'm now ploughing my next strip and power harrowing the last strip. All in one pass. Away we go. Again, this is probably going to be, you're looking at doing this on smaller setups. You do it all in one pass if you're going for a slightly more realistic look on it, but it works, and it works well. It's a fantastic bit of kit, very clever. That weight is almost dragging on the ground, but it does look pretty cool. Then when we get to there, lift the whole lot up. Well, actually no, plough stays down, and this is where it gets a little bit fiddly, because I turn that over and leave that running. I want to plough right to the end of my strip like that, then go back to my plough, which I then lift, swing round, but then also at this point I want to turn my plough, so it all gets a little bit kind of complicated. It depends how you view it. You might be looking at it thinking, that's brilliant, I love it, I want to have a go with that. So then as I come down the field now, plough's turned, I start power harrowing the next section, like so. Plough gets dropped. I'll plough my next section while power harrowing the last bit. Now, can this be used for other things? I've had a few people ask me already. Is it possible to put snow ploughs, snow blowers on the front attachment arm? Can you run other things on that 3-point link rather than the power harrow? Probably. In all honesty, there are so many different things you could probably try out. I would suggest fiddle around with it, try and attach things up. I could spend all day trying all different attachments and different things on here to see what will work and what won't. But there we go. That's the Roto Arm and power harrow. That's really cool. That's my SMI Modding Team. It may not be for you, and I may not have shown it as perfectly or precisely as it should have been shown, but that's what it does. It ploughs and power harrows all in one pass. There you go. And that's it for the mods for today. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please. Be my guest, whatever you should choose to do. As always, thanks for watching.